In the heart of the arena, two warriors stand ready. Jason Statham, with his precise techniques, faces Danny Trejo, whose raw power is undeniable. Tonight, they fight not just for victory, but for the title of Ultimate Fighter. From the gritty streets of Shirebrook, Derbyshire, Jason Statham emerged not merely to fight, but to redefine resilience. Born into a working-class family, his father a coal miner and his mother a market vendor, Statham's early life was steeped in the raw realities of labor and perseverance. Yet, it was in the crystal-clear waters of Britain's diving pools that he found his true calling. For 12 years, he honed his body into a precision instrument, competing in the World Championships and representing England at the 1990 Commonwealth Games. Each dive was a testament to his discipline and focus, qualities that would later propel him into the cinematic spotlight. Hollywood discovered him not on a red carpet, but on a London street corner, selling knockoff jewelry. What they saw was authenticity, an edge honed by years of physical and mental rigor. Unlike many actors who rely on choreography and stunt doubles, Statham insisted on performing his own stunts, often at great personal cost. His fighting style is a brutal ballet of efficiency, no wasted movement, just devastating combinations that end fights swiftly. Yet, this very aggression, his greatest strength, can also be his Achilles heel. In battles against opponents who match his intensity, his straightforward approach sometimes leaves him vulnerable to those who wield patience as a weapon.
Danny Trejo's journey began in the shadows of Echo Park, Los Angeles, where survival meant embracing a life of crime from a tender age. By 12, he was already ensnared by heroin, and by his teens, he was orchestrating armed robberies. This path led him to the cold, unforgiving walls of California's most notorious prisons. Here, in the brutal crucible of Folsom, San Quentin, and Soledad, Trejo was molded not by textbooks, but by raw, unfiltered violence. Each scar etched into his skin tells a tale of defiance, resilience, and an unyielding will to survive. In solitary confinement, facing the death penalty, Trejo reached a pivotal moment of clarity. He made a pact with God. Let me die with dignity, and I'll dedicate my life to helping others. Miraculously, the charges were dropped, and Trejo emerged from the depths of despair with a renewed purpose. Hollywood discovered him not through auditions, but by chance. A young screenwriter seeking an authentic tough guy stumbled upon Trejo. What they found was a man whose mere presence commanded respect and fear. His fighting style was raw and unrefined, street-honed techniques that were as unpredictable as they were effective. Trejo's strength lay not just in his physical prowess, but in his psychological warfare. Years of prison brawls had sharpened his instincts, allowing him to read opponents and exploit their weaknesses with chilling precision. However, time is an adversary even for legends. At 79, his body no longer absorbs punishment as it once did, and his reflexes have slowed. Yet, the fire within him remains undiminished, a testament to a life lived on his own terms.
The warehouse trembled with anticipation as the bell rang. Jason Statham surged forward like a predator unleashed, his every movement a blur of calculated aggression. His right hook cut through the air, a missile aimed at Trejo's temple. The impact was thunderous, yet Trejo staggered, his grin widening, a chilling reminder of the countless battles he'd survived. Trejo absorbed the blow with a grimace, his body a testament to years of enduring pain. He stood firm, his eyes locking onto Statham's, reading the younger man's every shift. Patience was his weapon. He waited, biding his time. When Statham overcommitted on a left cross, Trejo slipped inside, delivering a brutal uppercut to the liver that bent Statham double. The crowd gasped, the raw power of the strike echoing in the silence that followed. The fighters circled, each searching for an opening. Statham's relentless pace began to show, his breaths heavier, his movements more deliberate. Trejo, however, seemed ageless, his experience guiding him with every step. Each time Statham thought he had an advantage, Trejo was there, turning a potential knockout blow into a mere graze. The sounds of leather meeting flesh filled the air, a rhythmic symphony of combat. Neither man gave an inch, their wills clashing as fiercely as their fists. The warehouse, once a silent observer, now roared with the energy of their battle, a testament to the indomitable spirits of both warriors. Midway through the third round, the atmosphere shifted palpably. Jason Statham, relentless and precise, had been pressing forward with unyielding aggression, but Danny Trejo, embodying the essence of survival, altered the rhythm. Instead of retreating, he advanced, absorbing a crushing blow to his ribs while delivering a short, brutal hook to Statham's kidney. The impact staggered the younger fighter. His legs wavered for the first time. Trejo sensed the crack in Statham's confidence. Years of prison brawls had taught him that every fighter has a breaking point. When that moment arrives, you exploit it without hesitation. He began to speak, his words laced with psychological warfare, each syllable designed to unsettle, to invade Statham's mind while his fists continued their assault. The fourth round unfolded as a brutal test of endurance. Statham's youthful vigor and conditioning kept him dangerous, but Trejo's seasoned experience began to dominate. Every exchange seemed to favor the older fighter, who used angles and timing that Jason couldn't quite read. A perfectly timed counterpunch opened a cut above Statham's left eye, and suddenly the transporter was fighting through a crimson curtain. But Jason Statham didn't become Hollywood's most authentic action star by quitting. He dug deeper into his reserves than he ever had before, launching a final assault that pushed Trejo back against the warehouse wall. For 30 seconds, it seemed as though youth and power might overcome experience and guile. Then, Danny Trejo did what he had done in countless prison yards. He survived the storm and struck when his opponent was most vulnerable. As Statham threw everything he had left into one final combination, Trejo slipped the last punch and landed a perfect counter that dropped Jason to one knee. In that moment, with both fighters bleeding and exhausted, the warehouse fell silent except for their labored breathing. Jason looked up at Danny, saw something in those eyes that spoke of a lifetime of violence survived, and slowly nodded his respect. Danny Trejo won this fight through pure attrition and experience. While Statham had the physical advantages of youth, strength, and conditioning, Trejo's decades of real-world violence gave him an edge that no gym training could replicate. His ability to absorb punishment while maintaining his tactical awareness, combined with his psychological dominance and perfect timing on counterattacks, ultimately wore down the younger fighter. In the end, Hollywood tough guy faced prison-forged survivor, and authenticity triumphed over athleticism. Both men walked away with their reputations intact, but only one walked away standing tall.